everyone, it's your beautiful butterfly, Rebekah here, and I am going to be doing a story time where I lost my life, but miraculously God saved my life at the same time. Many of my subscribers, if you've been subscribed to me for a very, very long time, have heard this story many times, but for my newer subscribers, you have not heard this story. I am going to be telling you this story where I went in for a simple surgery, lost my life, and my life has changed forever because of this surgery. And I'm retelling it because it's my story only. I'm not trying to convince everyone to believe me. There are a lot of people that are going to say, oh no, that didn't happen to you, you're making it up. No, why would somebody make something like this up? I would never wish this on my worst enemy. It's horrible what I've been through and what I'm still going through to this day, even though it's been almost 11 years since this has happened. I'm also doing this to tell my testimony, and my testimony about how God is amazing and how there is a God and how He does bring people back to life from death, and how He can heal people. I'm also doing this story because people have asked me to do it. They want to know more about it. There are people that want to hear it again because they feel bad that they have bullied me for over 3 years and they really haven't known the facts about what I've been through and why I'm in bed most of the time, or why I'm not a normal 33-year-old, why I don't get myself out there, why I have mental issues. So this video, I hope, will explain everything, get you a little idea. I would tell a little backstory about my life. So if you would like to know, please stay tuned. Let's get into this video. Grab a snack. You may want to grab some tissues because some people may cry. Some people may be, wow, how did you survive? And that's what the doctor said too. They have no clue how I survived. There's 3 cases that they have known of this. One's a vegetable and one had passed away. And they had no clue why I was talking and the way I was. And I do suffer from a lot of illnesses, and I do have a brain injury. I do suffer from short-term and long-term memory issues, but they were shocked that I had still my medical, not all of it, but I had medical knowledge because I was a nurse. But I will get into this video. Hope you enjoy. I love you guys. If you're not already, please join the beautiful butterflies. You're amazing and unique, and this is going on to this channel. So if you are watching this is on my second channel. Please subscribe to my first channel, which is Beauty Positivity 24/7. Please subscribe to that channel. I'm doing a giveaway, and let's get into this video. guys. So, here's my story where I lost my life and God miraculously brought me back to life. But before I get to those details, let me tell you a little bit about my life. I was born on February 13th. My birthday's going to be coming up and I'll be 34. Woohoo! I was a miracle myself, even being born. I was born actually at 5 months. So I was about, 5, 6, 7, 8, 4 months premature. So I struggled, even surviving. I was on a ventilator for about 4.5 weeks, and the doctor, I think it wasn't the doctor, it was like an intern, turned down my respirator. My lung collapsed. I almost died then, but God saved my life then. So growing up, I struggled with having to learn how to talk. I couldn't talk till I was about 6.5. I had speech issues. I still struggle with speech. I had to learn how to speak, so I did speech classes, and then I had a learning disability, like on the borderline of a learning disability. So I was in classes to help me learn in different ways than what other children learn. But there's that. But I was a straight A student, was on the National Honor Society, got all the awards that there were, and I was a good kid, never got in trouble, never got pregnant at 17, never did drugs, never did anything like that. My main focus was on school. I wanted to be a nurse or a chef, and actually got accepted in culinary school, but it was a long wait to be in nursing schools. No, I think a long way to get into the culinary school program itself, so I decided to do nursing. And now, the comments saying that I'm not a nurse, that was like an elderly care assistant, basically an STNA, CNA. No, I was not. I was an LPN. Look it up, what an LPN is. It's a licensed practical nurse. RNs are registered nurse. They have license too. An RN, yes, is higher than an LPN, but LPNs are not STNAs. They are nurses. RNs can do a little bit more than LPNs, but now, like when I was a nurse, we weren't allowed to do IVs and all that, but now LPNs are allowed to do IVs and we passed meds and did a lot of paperwork and wound care and dressing changes and all that good fun stuff. So get that straight. If you don't know what LPN is, please look it up. So I was a nurse. I work, but I've been working since I was 15 years old. I worked at a senior center from 15 to about 18. Then I went and graduated high school, and I went to nursing school, and I went to a community college. Now, you can get your nursing degree at a community college. A community college is where you go and you take classes and you go home. It's not a college where you stay on campus, okay? Finished my nursing. The nursing program was about like a year and a half, but I was there about 4 years because I had to take all the pre-rep classes and I had to actually take a test to be able to get into the nursing class. So I passed that and got into the nursing class. It was nursing is very hard, and it was very fast paced at the day program. If you took it at night, it's very more slower, but at day it's very fast. You have to learn things very fast and know everything very fast and everything. So I worked from a nurse I graduated nursing school in 2006, okay? And so I had to go up and take my boards. When I graduated nursing school, I got a certificate for LPN, and then I had to go up and the state I live and go take my nursing boards. I passed it the first time, and that is very good because normally some people don't pass the first time. They pass the second time. So I passed, and I worked from 2006 to 2008. So basically close to 3 years. And then I was at work, and I told my supervisor I'm not allowed lifting. Well, no one was there to help, and the nice person I am, I said I'll help. We needed to lift up a man that was like 300 pounds and slide him up in bed. And I knew this was a bad idea and I was not supposed to do it. And I told her I'm not allowed lifting, and she kind of forced me to do it. So I lift him up and my back started hurting. Now, when I hurt my back when I was 15, because I had to have surgery when I was 17, but they didn't detect my injury until like 2 years later. When I hurt my back the first time. When I hurt my back the first time, I helped lift a lady from a wheelchair to the couch. I heard my back pop instantly, and it hurt immediately. I mean, like, it hurt. And then I found out I had a herniated disc, but it was pressing against my sciatic nerve, and I couldn't walk, okay? Got that fixed. By the same, okay, that surgery when I was 17 is done by the same doctor that did this surgery, okay? So my back just started hurting, my muscles started hurting real bad, and I told her I wasn't feeling well, like my muscles and backs were hurting. Normally, if that happens, we have to fill out a report, and she's supposed to send me to the ER. She didn't want to fill out the report because she was supervising. She was supposed to fill out, and she never did. Well, I went to my doctor and told him I was hurting really bad, and so they did an MRI, and they found out that I had a herniated disc. So then, like, since she didn't fill out the paperwork, I couldn't get workman's comp, okay? Because I could have got workman's comp, but I couldn't get it because since she didn't fill out the paperwork. So I found out that I had this herniated disc, and I worked for almost a year with this herniated disc, and the pain just got worse and worse and worse. So in 2008, I decided to have surgery. The doctor who did my first surgery, and I trusted him, he did a good job. I thought he did a good job on my first surgery. So I went to the same doctor, and I asked him, well, why am I not having this major surgery or this surgery in a hospital, because it's the same surgery that I had before. It's a microdiscectomy where they use lasers and stuff. It's like, you're worrying too much, quit worrying, everything be fine. And see, I had it at an outpatient center where the surgery was going to be like 45 minutes, and then I was going to go home 3 hours later. Well, that was not the case, okay? But night before the surgery, I had a dream, okay? Hold on a second. I had a dream, okay? And God gives me visions. Not all the time, but He does give me visions. And God is amazing, and I love Him dearly. But sometimes I wish God would not give me visions because they scare me, but I pray when He does, and I know He gives them to me to warn me about things and just to teach me. Hold on. My babies want to come up here. Just to teach me. So, that night, I had a dream, and the dream consists of, the dream consists of everything that was going to happen to me. It had the dream of me going in the surgery, going to sleep, the doctor doing the surgery, cutting me, and everything happening. But it was like a big flash, it was like a movie, like real, but it was super fast. So the morning came when I had my surgery, and I know, like, my dad, I called him and told him I was having surgery. He's like, are you sure you want to have that surgery? Is it safe? And I said, oh yeah, it's fine. I'll be okay. I think that was like maybe a night before I had it, or 2 nights before I had it, or something like that. So I told Mom about this dream I had, and I also told my aunt about it, and they're like, "Oh, you'll be fine. Nothing's going to happen to you. You're just a little nervous, anxious, you have little butterflies in your stomach. Everything will be fine. We're praying for you." I'm like, "Okay." I said, "Maybe it's I just having fear in me." And so I went and had the surgery, and this is my mom's point of view. And the reason why I know what all happened to me was because my mom and my sister has told me everything, because I do not know what happened. My mom said when I was in surgery, she said literally the lights like went out and came back on. But I wasn't in surgery more than 15 minutes. They came out, and the only reason why they knew something happened was because my blood pressure was dropping. And they said, I guess the doctor or somebody came out and told them, "Hey, we have to staple her up and take her to the hospital. Something major is going on." At the time, my mom didn't know what was going on. My mom and my sister were really scared. And when I remember, because I was coming out of that surgery a little bit, and I remember them putting me in the CT scan. They said, "Rebekah, we're going to take a picture of your belly. We're going to take a picture of your belly." And so they did, and I remember them say, "Oh no, she's hemorrhaging or she's bleeding." I do remember that. And to come to find out, they were went and took me into emergency surgery, and I wasn't totally under that surgery, from the first surgery to the emergency surgery. And since it was such emergency surgery, I guess they thought I was out of it yet, and I was not. I felt them cut me, and guys, let me tell you this, that is the worst pain ever. It was a burn, like a burning sensation, a throbbing sensation, like a stabbing sensation. It was horrible, okay? So, to come to find out, this doctor, which I'm not naming the doctor, literally cut my iliac artery and vein, not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times. I literally lost so much blood. I died 4 times. And I know when I've told this story, people say, "No, you never died." Yes, I did. I died. They had to do CPR on me. And they had to give me 22 pints of blood. You know how much 22 pints of blood? Plus more. 22 pints of blood is like equivalent to like 2 people. Plus they had to give me like plasma, I think white blood cells, and some more red blood cells. They had to give me a lot of blood products. And so they were going to life flight me that night, but I was in such critical condition that they could not do that. They could not life flight me out that night, because they were afraid that I was going to go into another cardiac arrest. Now, let me tell you some of the details of this. I was so swollen. You know, like if a deer has been on the road and you see it's all big and balloon. That's how big and swollen I was. I probably had swollen up to probably 200 and something pounds, maybe 300. My mom could not recognize me. She didn't even know who I was. And my sister wanted to take pictures of me, and I wish that they would, because if they could have, I would be showing you pictures right now of me. But they wouldn't allow her to do it because they said it would mess up the machines. But no, that's just a lie. It wouldn't mess up the machines. They just didn't want us to take pictures because it was a medical, probably a medical lawsuit. But anyway, my abdomen, they could not close me up because they were afraid I was going to get compartment syndrome. And what that is you get so much fluid in you, it has nowhere to go, and it can press up against your heart and cause you to go into a cardiac arrest. they had to leave my stomach open for almost a week. And also I had congestive heart failure. I had so much fluid on me where they had to do dialysis. And sorry if I'm talking funny, I have my thing in me. So they had to do dialysis on me. I was on a ventilator, and I hated that thing because every time they had to section me, I came off that bed. It's not fun being on a ventilator. Trust me, it's not. I had an NG tube where they were sucking out all the blood and everything that was in me and my stomach and everything. It was disgusting. I was so swollen that they had a catheter in me, and it was so painful because my lady parts down there were so swollen, but it was so raw that every time, I don't think they had the catheter in right, that it hurt so bad. TMI. And then I had developed VRE, which is vancomycin resistant, I think it's like erythromycin, which, or something like that, which the antibiotic vancomycin can't kill it. It's like MRSA, but it's like different. So I was very highly contagious. I got pneumonia due to, and I will tell you this, I was so panicky and like anxiety. They had to actually put me back in a medical induced coma because I knew what was all going around me, and all the machines, and I was freaking out, and so they had to put me back in a thing, and they had to keep me tied down because they didn't want me to pull out my ventilator. There was this nurse, and it's like I would go like this, and this is this thing I had right here. I don't know if you can see it now. It's a scar right there, and they had to put an arterial line there to monitor my blood pressure and heart rate, and it's easier to do it that way. And well, I kept on going like this, and they kept on telling me do not do that. But I didn't listen because I wanted to write. And well, this one nurse that was taking care of me, I was in so much pain, and I felt like I couldn't breathe. And off that night that nurse had worked, that guy nurse, he did not give me no pain medicine, and he did not section me all night. And in the morning when they changed shifts, and I asked if I could write, because that night I told him that I needed section. I wrote on the bed like this, and that nurse told the aide to not pay attention to me, to don't listen to me. He literally said that. And but in the morning when they did shifts, I went and told, because my mom came in, I tried to write, and my mom talked to them and said that was very inappropriate, and it was horrible. And then, because I had the surgery on a Friday, so then that Sunday, they life flighted me, okay? My sister does have a video. I wish I could find it, or she can send it to me. She does have a video of the helicopter, putting me in the helicopter, and the helicopter lifting off, where they life flight me from one hospital to another hospital. And let me tell you, when they had to transfer me to the bed, to the other ambulance bed, to go to the helicopter, they had unhooked me from my ventilator. And when they did that, I felt like I was going to die because they had unhooked me and I couldn't breathe. But man, let me tell you guys, when they got me to the regular hospital, they said, what, do we have to take her into surgery? Do we have to take her into surgery or something like that? And I was trying to tell them, no. They were asking something, and I was like, no. And then they're like, knock her out. So they gave me like Valium or Versed or something. They knocked me out, but I was trying to tell them no about something because they wanted to do surgery or something, but I remember I was in that ICU room, and I was in room 7. 7 means perfection to me in God's eyes, and 7 is a amazing number to me. I love the number 7. I was in 7 when I was a baby, and like in the little room 7 when I was a baby. I was in room 7 at this one hospital, and in the other hospital I was in room 7. Yes. And so I was hallucinating. I remember they had me in a medical induced coma for about a week. And when I had woke up, which I didn't know that when they had taken the vent out, that I was struggling and trying to get out of the bed. I have no memory of that, but that's what they said. And my sister also said funny things. She said that I guess I thought the IV pole was a lady and trying to strangle me, and then I thought the curtain, the hospital curtain, was like candy. And then I do remember this. I thought there was a bathtub in my room, and then I thought there was a clown in the bathtub. And they're like, no. So then I remember that day, that evening or that next day, they had put me on Zoloft or some antipsychotic med because I was hallucinating. But I don't remember them taking me to surgery to sew me up. All I remember was being awake, and I didn't have no vent. They said that if I can't come off the vent, they would have done a trach on me. I had another episode. I do remember this. I had another episode of congestive heart failure. After they took me off the vent, I only thought I was on like 3 liters of oxygen. I was on 30 liters on oxygen. That's how bad it was, because I couldn't breathe. I said, I can't breathe. It's because I went through another CHF moment, and because they had to do the x-ray and I seen that. And so they had put me on 30 liters of oxygen. That's bad when you're on that high of oxygen. Then they also put me on CPAP, and I did not like that. I could not sleep with that. That was horrible. I tell them I wanted oxygen. I'm like, I can't sleep with CPAP. But I don't remember them taking me to surgery to sew me up, but all I do is remember waking up, and I had all these staples from basically this sternum area of into my rib cage, or no, actually it's above my rib cage, and then at the bottom, like above my rib cage, all the way down to my pubic area. And I can show you my scar here. The boys were here. Let me get him down for a second. Here, I'll show you. And I know some people said, oh, she didn't go through that. She's lying. Why would I lie about something like this? So, here is, oops, sorry. Here's some of my scar. It goes down here, and it actually goes all the way down here, and it goes completely all the way down. But, yes, and when they had to take the staples out, that was not a very fun experience. And then when they took my catheter out, because I had the catheter in me for so long, I remember I had stood up one time, and pee just automatically came out of me. I had no control over it. But because I had VRE was all in my body. It was in my intestines. It was in my blood. It was in everywhere. So I had like, this is TMI, I had horrible, smelly diarrhea. I mean, like, it was disgusting. And like, some of the nurses forgot to give me my Lasix, so they would give me, they would give me my Lasix at night. Like, they gave me like one time like 30 or 40 milligrams of Lasix at night. So I was up all night peeing, like, really. What else do I remember? So, I literally stayed, at the hospital for almost 6 weeks or more, close to 2 months, I think. I'm not for sure. But then they took me to a rehabilitation center. But because of my insurance, because I had Blue Cross Blue Shield, that's like, they were only allowing me to be there for like a week. So then I really didn't get what I needed, because I had to relearn how to walk, relearn how to feed myself, relearn how to clothe myself, relearn how to talk. What else did I had to do? Because I was weak on, I believe, on my right side. I was really weak on my right side, because that is where the iliac artery and vein had collapsed, and I had a blood. That's where the injury was, and then I had a blood clot on this side, and so I had to relearn how to do things, and my balance was off for years. I would fall, like, I was on a walker for a few years, and then when I got off the walker, I'm like, oh, I can walk fine, and all of a sudden I'll just fall with no reason. I'll just fall, and nothing would be there for me to trip on or anything. I would just fall. And that's why today, like, this happened in 2008, if you want to know when this happened. This happened in 2008. But that's why today I'm afraid of, like, going downstairs if I can't hold on to the railing, or just walking, period, like, even in the snow, because I'm afraid I'm going to fall. Because I've fallen before, and it's not fun. And so because of everything I've been through, I have short-term and long-term memory issues. Like, before, I could remember everything, like phone numbers, I could remember your name, I could remember events, I could remember every little detail that I been through, like things like that. Now I can remember some things like now, but not everything. And that's why if you see me on a live stream and I'm trying to think and I can't think and I forget and all that stuff, that's because of my brain injury. I'm not faking it. So there's that. I have, because of everything I've been through, and like I said, I would never wish this on no one. My worst enemy, anybody on YouTube, or anybody, because this was a horrible experience, and they have no clue how I even survived. I do not either. But it was God that made me survive. And part of this story that is so amazing and miraculous is when I was in my ICU room, laying in the bed. This was before they transferred me to another hospital. At the end of my bed, I saw two angels. They were identical. They were male. And not all angels have wings. Now, people think all angels have wings. No, not all angels have wings. They were glowing, like, around their bodies, were bright. I could see, like, their face. They were smiling. And then around my bed were people that I knew that had passed on. My grandpa, Ruby Doobie, that's what we used to call her, lived across the street here. I love Ruby Doobie. She was amazing. She used to babysit me when I was in middle school and stuff, and she had a stroke and she passed away. She was beautiful when I saw her. She was a classy lady, always had her nails done and everything. I miss her so much. Her son lives across the street still. Saw her. I saw other people, but I really didn't recognize them. But I probably knew them, or they knew me, or they were family that I never met. Then on my left side, up in the corner, I seen this bright light. I'm like, I just seen this bright light. But then I seen babies and children, like, going up in heaven. And I seen people too, but it was mostly children and babies. And, like, there was people, like, grown-ups and going up there. And the thing that I seen, like, they were dressed, I don't remember if they were dressed in regular clothes or if they were dressed in white gowns, but it was so peaceful. And then around my bed, like around me, I felt this warmth and peace. And I heard this big, deep voice. And let me tell you, there's no one around me. Like, I was in there by myself, but I heard this big, deep voice saying, and it was God, Jesus, saying, "My child, you will be okay." And when I heard that, like, I was just like stunned. I didn't know what to do. When he said I'd be okay, like, yeah, when I heard that, that means like I would survive. Didn't mean like I'd be healed completely, but over the years I have been healed of some things that I was having trouble with in the beginning. It don't mean I'm going to be healed completely or my pain's going to be taken away completely, but just hearing that and hearing that I would be fine brought peace to me. Like, when I first got out of the hospital, my heart was only working at maybe a 25-30%, and they didn't know how my heart, if my heart was going to do even better or what, or if I was going to die in the next few months or what. But my heart has actually gotten better. I still have cardiomyopathy and PVCs. Cardiomyopathy is where the muscle of your heart is enlarged, and that's because I had so much blood products, so much of blood, like from the bleeding, went in my heart and enlarged my heart. I have PVCs, which is called premature ventricular contraction, which that means your heart beats before it's supposed to. Like, it premature beats. So it beats, like, it premature beats, like, it beats before it's supposed to, like, it's really funny, and then when it happens, like, it flutters really bad. And then, what else I have PTSD, because of everything I've been through, like, the cutting on me, and just being awake, and the machines, and having flashbacks and nightmares and of everything I've been through. Now, my flashbacks and nightmares have gotten a little better. In the beginning, they were so bad that I was like freaking out like all the time. I tried to like control them. Like, you can't control like flashbacks and nightmares, but I don't. But I just say that they're a little better than what they were. But so I have PTSD, I have major depressive disorder, of course, because my life has totally changed and I can't be a nurse. And I was in a relationship and he got scared because of everything I went through. And so he broke up with me because he just didn't know what to do. And I had changed physically and mentally, so he couldn't handle it. And plus, he was blind and everything, and he just couldn't handle it. And I understand that. So yeah, so I'm depressed, and I'm depressed mostly all the time, but I try to be happy. I do have anger issues. Why? Because it's not right what I've been through, and what I've been through, and this person gets to live his high life, but I'm mad because this person's still practicing but hurting many other people all the time, thousands and thousands of people. But there's nothing I can do, but at least I took a stand and did something. I will say that. So yeah, so that's what I've been through, and I just thank God every day that at least I am alive. And I believe that He wants me to go and tell my story and say that there is a God, and God can bring people back to life from the brink of death. And He wants people to know that and to get closer to Him, because the world is ending, but we don't know the time and the day when it is going to end. But we don't it will end. And are you right with God? And if you don't believe God, that's your opinion. And if you don't believe what I'm saying, that's your opinion too. I know what I've been through, and no one else knows what I've been through. And it's just sad that this world is going bad. Like, when I was growing up, this world was not as bad as it is now. It's so bad. Like, it's horrible. But yeah, that's my story, where I lost my life, and miraculously God brought me back. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're not already subscribed to this channel, I love each and every one of you guys. If you have any questions, I am going to be doing a Q&A. Please leave them in the description below, and I will do a Q&A. Love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.